Good morning. How's it going, man?
Good morning. Really good. And yourself?
Yeah, good. We had a really good session today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we went for about 2 hours, didn't we?
No, it's 1 hour. I was
Yeah.
watching the clock today.
Yeah.
So, Stephen, first of all, welcome. I introduced to my audience about you, a little bit intro for the audience. So basically, we are doing a podcast today with Stephen. He is one of my mate. We met in the gym. Uh, he's been training there for almost like 7, 8 months, right?
No, about 10.
About 10 months. And I saw this guy. He was pretty charismatic, kind of like going and talking to every single stranger, which is a bit hard for me. Uh, but we do have a little bit of chit chat with each other. And one day I told him that, man, if you want, we can train together. And he's like, yeah, why not? But you're going to tell me what to do because I'm doing something different. And then we've been training together for almost like 3, 4 months now,
Yeah, easy.
and we really hit really good sessions together. And also when I spoke to Stephen, he told me that he was doing drugs for the last 10 years, which is a bit shocking for me, that someone who came from this situation, who's been doing drugs from the last 10 years, it's really hard to just even left that particular lifestyle and just be normal. But not even that, he just started doing the gym and he hit so hardly. Actually, he came to the gym 1 hour earlier than me, and he hit the running or jogging session, which is pretty amazing. I can't even do that. But yeah, today I'm gonna ask a bunch of questions to Stephen, that how he managed to forget all that stuff and move his life towards a positive thing. And also, we're just gonna do some bit chit chat. So today, most of the podcast is regarding fitness, motivation, and willpower. So I hope you guys will like it. मैं थोड़ा सा अपनी लैंग्वेज में भी बात इसलिए कर देता हूँ ताकि हमारी ऑडियंस को आज के मौजू की थोड़ी सी समझ आ जाए कि आज हम बात कैसे करेंगे. बेसिकली स्टीफन मेरे साथ जिम में ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं पिछले कोई 3, 4 मंथ से. तो आज का पॉडकास्ट नॉर्मली क्योंकि इंग्लिश में होगा, क्योंकि स्टीफन की जो लैंग्वेज है वो इंग्लिश है. और अब मैं भाई के साथ अगर उर्दू में बात करूंगा तो उनको समझ नहीं आएगी. तो लेकिन आई होप कि हमारी ऑडियंस को इंग्लिश भी समझ में आती है, अंडरस्टैंड आती है. मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि नीचे सबटाइटल्स भी डाल दूं हमारी अपनी लैंग्वेज में. तो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड. ऑलराइट Stephen, so tell me something regarding when you was in the drug phase, how you get addicted, how you just started doing drugs.
Okay, so it all started drinking. I started drinking when I was 16, 17. No, I was 17, year 12. And then from drinking, people started using drugs around me. Like, it was new to me. I knew my dad told me that drugs are no good. But back then in 2003, 2004, there was a lot of ecstasy around. There was a lot of cocaine and speed, dead ant speed. So I'll never forget the first time I took I took drugs off a mate. He was dealing drugs, and he gave me a bag of 20 pills. And those 20 pills had, they're called the green Mitsubishi. Green Mitsubishi, yeah, they were green. And I kept that in my wallet for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And then I went out with some mates. They're all drinking, and they didn't use drugs. And I had these ecstasy on me.
Right.
And for some reason, it was maybe midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. My mate told me, when you take an ecstasy tablet, it doesn't kick in for at least half an hour. So you take it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have one. And I popped that first one. I'll never forget. And I think it was longer than half an hour. Maybe 35 minutes later, all of a sudden, my hair stood up and my eyes just went boom. And I'll never forget that feeling. It's the feeling you'll never, that's why people get addicted. And that's where my life changed.
So that was a good feeling for you?
It was
like you get a lot of pleasure with that?
Unbelievable energy, unbelievable. I said to these fellas, turn this car around, we're going out. And from that day onwards, it became every week, every weekend. And then every weekend it led from ecstasy to cocaine to speed. And every weekend I had a business with my family. So there was money. I always had money.
So what that capsule thing, the green
It was
Mitsubishi,
a circle. It was round.
but what exactly that drug name is? Like, I know you told me that
Ecstasy, but green Mitsubishi. It was called a green Mitsubishi back then. But also there
is
was
it more of like a cocaine or
no
something else?
MDMA. It's like a crushed MDMA. It's
Hmm.
I'm not an expert, but
I'm not as well.
yeah, but I didn't actually care what was in the drug. I just
Right.
liked getting it. But the problem back then was there was a lot of people dealing drugs.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? If I told you everything, it's crazy.
What I understood one thing, according to just your own situation,
Yep.
that you said like it's first started with the drinking, right?
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of people go to this pathway and the first step was the drinking?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. I find from experience, not just my experience, drinking, or some people smoke weed. You know, weed, marijuana.
So some sort of like
Some
not,
sort
not
of
exactly the drug,
yeah,
but some sort of intoxication, you can say,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But also I've learned a lot of people use drugs to mask their pain, to cover up stuff. For me personally, my life was good. I had nothing was going wrong for me. I just loved the fact that it gave you a high. You know what I mean?
So till now,
Yep.
how long you've been just left that stuff? And you're
Okay,
not
I've
doing
been
that?
clean 2.5 years now.
2.5 years.
2.5 years. But this isn't my first time I've been clean. I've been clean before. I was clean before, roughly about the same, nearly 3 years, and then I relapsed. I got on the.
And when that happened?
That was 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then you again started.
It started with drinking first. I was living with a mate who was a bikie. He was kind of like in the club. Like he had a lot of people. He was from a club. And we were sober 1 year together. We were going to the gym. And then we just made some bad decisions. We started going out. We started drinking. And then I let all these things back in my life. Do you know what I mean? And then I started smoking gear again.
As per I know, you're living alone, right?
Right now, I live with a friend.
Live with a friend.
Yep.
And he's clean as well?
Yeah, he wasn't clean before, but he's clean now, yeah.
So he did the same rehab?
Same rehab.
As well?
He's 3 years, yes. Yep. So
right.
we rent from another mate. Our mate, it's our mate's house. He owns it. And he moved out. I was living with him originally, and now, he's moved with his family, and now he's just renting it to us. So
he is training or doing any sort of activity?
No, not the owner of the house. No, he's a good friend of mine. He works in the same organisation as well.
And what about the drinking patterns? Are you still drinking, or
No.
it's just completely clean?
Zero.
No drugs, no alcohol, no
Not
nothing.
smoking, no vapes. The problem is you see how I train?
Yeah.
I train excessive. That's my nature. So when I was drinking, I don't drink one drink. I drink 20. Understand what I'm saying?
Same thing. You're
Same thing.
a massive eater.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't have a limit. I go excessive.
Yeah. So you don't decide that what you're gonna do. It's just like
nah. And if right now, if I started drinking, my head goes to party mode. My head goes to women. My head goes to drugs. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be good. So for me, I cannot drink. I can't do anything.
So tell me a little bit regarding your life how it was before starting the drugs.
Yep.
You was very committed to your goals, or you are like very consistent?
I'll tell you. So I went to Croatia in year 7. My dad flew us over there because he's Croatian.
Where you from?
Croatia, yeah. And I did year 7 over there. And when I got back, I started playing soccer. So I was a good soccer player. I played for the Western Knights here.
Before the drugs, right?
Before the drugs, yeah. I played for the Western Knights in the state league here. So the problem was I was 17, 18 and I got best player in the league, best player in under 18s, and then I started training with the first team. So then once I started training with the first team, they put me on a contract. So back in 2003, 2002, I was getting $200 if the team won, $150 if we drew, and $100 if the team lost.
Nice.
You understand? But before, it was all cash money back then.
But for you specifically,
that was me. That was my agreement.
You more of like enjoying the game, not just
I love the game. But the problem was we had the best team in the league, and we had the best players. So it was hard for me to play the whole night. Like I was always on the bench. You understand?
Yeah.
And I wasn't happy with that. Being a young fellow, and the coaches used to promise us, if you train, you'll play. So I was at every training, but there was
At the end of the day,
they played
it with someone else.
Yeah, And anyway, it was a game against Perth. We were playing against Perth Italia. And the coach, the Thursday training before, he said I was playing. But then a Glory player came into our team, and then they put me on the bench for him, something like that anyway. And I took major offence. The president called me up. He said I was going to be on the bench on the game, and it was the biggest game of the year, you know what I mean?
So tell me something, what sort of drugs you take during that 10 years?
It was more than 10 years. It's probably 19 years.
19 years
Yeah.
you've been taking drugs.
Yeah.
You sound like you've been doing that for 10 years.
No, not 10 years.
So
not
at what age you started?
Between 2004 and I'm 41 now. So whatever that is, I can't work it out. But
2004. So
Yeah.
you was probably
19.
under 18,
19.
above 18.
Yeah. Above 18. I was above
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and do you meet a lot of youngsters nowadays? And
Lots.
because most of the time, even I do Uber sometime,
Yeah.
and the youngsters, those who are doing the party and all that stuff, they're talking about the drugs, which is like completely normal thing for them.
Yeah.
And it seems like that it is just making society more worse. Because you can tell me better, because you experience that. If you're taking drugs, you can't focus properly. You pretty much
Unreliable, liar, stealer, cheater.
all the bad things.
All the bad things. All the bad things.
Because your mind is not in your control.
Nah, you can never trust someone using drugs. Never trust them.
You cannot trust them.
No.
How can you identify if someone is using drugs and it's that person is a stranger for you, but you don't know him?
I can tell. Erratic behavior, can't sit still. But it depends what drug they're using. Like ice, I was a functioning ice addict. I used to work and function on the ice. I'll be up. I'm not lying to you. For 2 weeks, I wouldn't sleep. You wouldn't sleep. But obviously, I wasn't working properly, sweating, eating erratically. It's crazy. But I can tell when someone's on the ice. You can tell when someone's on the cocaine, because cocaine's only for a good little short period. You can drink alcohol later and then fall asleep.
Do you think someone who is taking drugs,
Yeah,
they lie, obviously?
Yeah.
Because you said like you cannot trust them.
no.
But do you think if someone is on the drugs, they still behave like the normal people, and
They can.
the stranger cannot know that either this person is on drugs or not? Because obviously, bunch of people, those who are addicts, right, and they are on the streets as well. So you can't just tell straight away that he's drugs, unless he's doing some unusual activity.
Yeah, but to be honest, what you guys are doing, living normal life, going to the gym, drug addicts can't do that. They can do it for a little bit and then they'll just stop going. You know what I mean? You're not consistent. You know, you will never be consistent in anything.
I just want to share a little bit of experience with you. I see a bunch of people, those who are pretty. I understood they are consistent because I see them in the gym every single day. I don't know they're using drugs or they're drinking too much alcohol. I don't know because I don't know them personally. But what I saw in the gym, and this is what I experienced so many times, people standing out in the gym, having that vape thing just before they starting their workout. I didn't understand that. Like you are intoxicated yourself, you're putting a smoke or some sort of like a bullshit into your lungs, and then after that you go to the gym and training. What is that? Do you understand that?
No, I don't get it either.
It's just crazy. Not just the guys, the girls as well.
Yeah.
I saw a chick yesterday. She was doing that as well.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
It's society. It's society now. You know what I mean? What's normal? What's not? That's not normal to me now. But some people smoke cigarettes before they play sport. You know what I mean?
Do you think parenting play a big role in that?
Parenting, big time. The way people act in life is the way they've been brought up as a young kid. You understand? Someone that's been bashed by their parents is going to act differently to someone that lived a good life and had good discipline. Do you understand what I'm saying? Kids, adults that don't have parents from when they're younger, also 90% of the time you'll meet them, they'll be troubled in some sort of way. You understand? Family and upbringing is very important to the way a person lives their life.
I just want to ask one question, which is a little bit side from the topic.
Yeah,
it's not related to the drugs. But at some point I'm gonna join it with the drugs as well. What I'm what I want to ask that I've been living in Australia from the last 6.5 years. In Perth, I'm from the last 1.5 year. I have noticed one thing in the Australian society: people get divorced after 10 and 20 years of marriage,
Yeah.
and even they have kids, and the kids grow up around, like, the kids ages are somewhere around like 8 or 9 years, which is not too young and not too elder, because they still need someone as a protector, or as a uh, you know like they need someone's protection and someone guidance, like they need the parents. And the parents got separated after 10 years of marriage or 20 years of marriage. Back in my country, the divorce happened, but either it never happened, or either it happened in a very early stage of the marriage, like probably 8 months, 1 year, or 2 years. And recently, the trend what I have saw is, in my society, people just getting divorced in the very first year of the marriage, because
Okay.
they don't understand, like, it's not going to work. And mainly the reason behind that, what I notice, is like lack of patience, because they think that they're gonna meet with someone else and have a good time with them, instead of just making the previous relationship better. So could you please tell me that, what do you think, because you've been married to someone else,
Yes.
right? And is that fine if I ask that question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you've been married, what do you think, what's the main reason over here people just get divorced from each other after that long period of marriage?
Because people get influenced by other people. I believe the society now is different, but
Influence means, can you explain
influence
that?
girls going out with their friends, having fun. Um, they don't have any
Every single
boundaries.
gender have a lot of
Yeah,
options now.
yeah. It's but everyone's breakup and divorce happens differently. Mine was because I was selfish. I was using drugs. I was never there for her emotionally. And it just went bad. It bad. My own choices and stuff. You know what I mean?
When you guys got married,
Yeah,
you was using drugs at that
yeah.
time as well?
Not on my wedding day. Um,
Not on your wedding day.
but people were using drugs at my wedding. But previously, I stayed clean for maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, I did.
Right.
Yeah, but you've got to understand. I was an addict. I
She
partied.
knew that?
She knew that. Yeah, yep. She knew I used drugs, but she didn't know what level.
She did the drugs as well?
No,
She never did
never
that.
did drugs. Hated drugs.
She
And
hated
well,
drugs. Why
she
did she
hated
still
drugs.
choose you?
I don't know. I don't know because she loved me. She thought I was going to change. There was one point where
And you thought the same thing, that you're gonna change for her?
I thought, I knew in the back of my head, I knew I wasn't going to stop. I just wanted to like hide it a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's crazy because I would get a big amount of drugs. And one time I owed someone money and I had this big amount of drugs and I had to actually tell her, like she found out anyway. And I had her in my room helping me bag up these drugs to sell. You understand?
She was helping you
She
out
was
as well.
helping me in the Samson house. Yeah, once. It happened once. Yeah, this is my ex-wife.
'Cause
So
she
I
was-
put her in a situation she didn't want to be in. But what I did was I promised her money, but
Because she don't want to see you in trouble.
nah. So that was that little bit of insight to a little bit of how I was. But it's madness.
Have you ever had any kids?
Nah, we had an abortion. I had an abortion with all my exes, so no kids.
Or you have an abortion?
I had an abortion, 3.
Why is that?
Sorry?
Why is that, if I may ask?
Well, it was her decision. She didn't want to have kids with me.
Or she don't want?
Nah.
Okay.
And I wasn't ready anyway.
You want that?
Well, now I want kids. Yeah, I'm 41, but
back then you was not
back
ready.
then I wasn't ready.
Why is that?
Because I was having fun.
You think that this is a big responsibility and you can't take it at this stage?
Nah. The thing is, I was. If I wanted to say how I was, do you know who Peter Pan is? Peter Pan, the boy that never grew up. That's what I compare myself. That's why I live my life. My missus said you're like Peter Pan. Like if my friends
you're just growing, you're mentally.
I was like a kid.
At all.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. As soon as I started using drugs, my brain, I was a smart person.
What do you think about now?
Now,
you're more mature.
More mature.
You're more responsible.
More responsible.
Do you think if you get married now?
Yeah.
What do you think that is it going to be a better? Or?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And you want kids now?
I want kids now, yeah.
Are you specifically looking for someone?
I am, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Best of luck, man, for that.
Thanks.
So now, the question what I'm going to ask is, like, if someone is listening that podcast,
Yep.
and he or she, if they're stuck into bad habits, could be drugs, could be any other addiction,
Yep.
maybe addiction of too much eating food,
Yep.
too much watching of movies, or maybe someone is watching porn too much. That's also addiction. That is
100%.
also the same like drugs, right? This
Yep.
is also drug, and a lot of people, they ignore that. Oh, not just having fun, because you're just and I personally read a little bit of books on that regarding this addiction. Some people, they do not get to that particular feeling what you actually have to feel with your partner. You're just getting it from the porn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it correct?
Correct.
You believe in that?
Yep. I can tell you one thing. My personal belief is, and I've learnt this in the rehab, no matter what addiction you have, you must confess your addiction. You must speak to people. You can't keep it bottled up inside all these issues and think it's going to be okay. You need to speak to someone. You understand?
I
Confess.
I just want to put a little question over here. Some people, they from inside, they really want to confess a lot of things what they're doing in their life,
but they don't.
The main reason what I have found, maybe I'm wrong, it's just my own perspective. A lot of people, that think that if they tell their secrets to someone, the people gonna judge them, or maybe they tell their secret to a bunch of other people, and then they feel embarrassed. What do you think about that?
Well, can I tell you, I'm a Christian man, so I believe in God.
Yeah.
So for me personally, the only person that can judge me is the person that made me. No person can judge anyone, because we're all the same. We're equal. You understand what I'm saying?
Muslims have the same
100%.
belief.
I'll never judge you, no one.
Yeah.
Because there's only one judge, and there is. I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
And I've lived a bad life, and now I know I've been forgiven. I feel bad for all the things I've done.
Yeah.
So I can't judge anyone. But to explain it to someone that doesn't understand that, it's hard.
Because you get a second opinion that makes your decision a bit more better.
But there's no difference between someone that litters rubbish than someone that lies. What's the difference between a drug addict or a person that cheats on their wife? There's no difference.
No difference.
Same.
Maybe just
and I know there's a lot of people that used to look at me and say, look at that druggie, but they're cheating on their wife. They're lying to their boss. They're stealing from that person. What's the difference between what they're doing and nothing?
Yes, 100%.
So that's...
I think specifically if you're talking about the people, those who judge others, I think they should have to judge themselves first.
Yeah. So it says in the Bible, it says, don't worry about the little speck in someone's eye when you've got a log in your own eye. You understand?
Yeah.
So I've learned, I don't judge anyone. Never, nothing. When I see someone on the street, I bless them, pray for them. That's how I look at it.
Similar sort of stuff is in the Quran as well. When Allah says to the Prophet that every single person should have to take care of their own doings. You are not going to answer for them, or you're not going to answer for your friend what mistakes they have done. You're just only going to be answerable for your doings, what you have done. So and I have seen a bunch of people, even back in my country, those who consider themselves, they are very religious, and they have big beards, and they have like pretty much like all the appearance. I'm not talking, and I'm not criticizing anyone's appearance, but the people, those who have specifically that appearance, not all of them, a bunch of people, and they're judging every single person. He's not praying, or she's not praying, she's doing this, she's doing that. We all know that what we are doing, but you can tell all the people that this is right and this is wrong, but you cannot judge themselves. Maybe that person is doing something which is much better than you. Right? And this is in between God and that person. It's nothing to do with you. Right? So another question is, if someone wants to change his or her life, the main question was, what steps they can take to get rid of that bad habit and then move themselves, or go into that particular line of life where they can make their life better, like leaving the bad habits and
Yep.
adopting some good habits.
Okay, first thing, you need to recognize you have a problem. That's the number one thing. If you keep saying you don't have a problem, you've got a problem.
You have to admit first.
You have to admit first. Next thing, if you've got a porn addiction, you need to put everything in place so you can't get on that website. If you've got a porn addiction, put your phone that you can't look up porn. Tell your missus or your friend, I have an addiction, help me out. Do you understand? Put things in place. If you don't do any of that, you're going to fail. And if you can't do that, you need to seek help. You need to go. No one can do things on their own sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You need to seek help and go get help, like I did. I went to Shalom House.
So what you are saying, that people don't need to feel shame
Nah.
that if they have problem. We all humans.
Everyone has
we
problems.
do mistakes and we do have problems.
Yep.
Someone, like for example, if someone have a porn addiction, someone have a drug addiction, someone may be having an addiction of just eating some shit all day, someone having a problem of just looking some shit stuff and not working, just lazy, sitting down in the couch or just laying down all day, talking a lot of shit, doing nothing. So if they can't do it by themselves, they should seek help.
100%.
That's the same thing when you're going to a doctor, when you have any problem in your system, and you ask and seek advice from a doctor. People can seek advice from doctor, but when they have problem mentally, they don't go to a psychologist or to some other maybe a rehab. That's what you did. So can you just advise bunch of people that you should have to go and seek advice, and which is completely fine, no one is going to judge you?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you quickly about Shalom House. So basically, there's no medication. You come to this rehab, there's no medication. You can't take anything. If you want to take medication, see you later. This is cold turkey rehab. So they don't believe in medicating people. You understand?
Right.
So when you come into this rehab, they take your phone, your keys, your car, everything. Strip you zero. The only things you come in is with your clothes for 1 year.
Okay.
1 year, no phone, no nothing.
So you do not have any contact with the previous life, what you have?
Zero contact. You work 9 to 5. You get up, you read the Bible. You clean the house in the morning. You clean the house at night. And there's leaders and strict rules in the house. And on the weekends, they do activities. And you do this for a whole year.
And can you also tell me that how hard it was for you when you started this rehab thing, and how difficult it was in the beginning?
So in the beginning, it wasn't hard because I was relieved that I was in a safe place.
It wasn't hard.
It wasn't hard at the start, but it becomes harder later because you got all the rules. It becomes harder later, a little bit, and you want to just get out there. You want to live life, but for me personally,
at the start, after that,
it wasn't. It was harder after, but. For any normal human being, most of the time, this is a very strict rehab, and you struggle at the start. Lots of rules, lots of So,
any fitness advice?
Fitness advice: consistency.
Consistency.
Yep. And I me personally, I listen to music, so I can't train without music. I fix my goals. I say I'm going to do something, and I do it.
And do you think it is so? What you're trying to saying is like listening music, so that you can enjoy what you are doing.
Yeah.
Some people, they come 2 or 3 days and then it's like, oh, it's so hard because they're not enjoying. Because you and me, it is sometimes hard for us as well.
Yeah.
But most of the time we enjoy that.
Yeah.
Even though we are in a pain, right?
Yeah, 100%. But what I do is when I train, I picture myself the end goal. I picture myself.
Then I'm gonna see myself.
Yeah, and I put on this, all this.
And this is what we do. We both did a transformation in the last 3 months.
Yeah.
You see me, I saw you as well.
Yeah.
We both changed, and that giving us more push because when you see the results. Because this is what I also want to tell my audience. Because when they started this gym thing, they go to the gym 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, a week, a 2 week, and then a month, and they can't see any changes.
Yeah.
Because it needs time. It needs persistence.
Yep.
And then after 1 month, when they can't see the result, they quit. And because you're very close to your goal. And also, I just want to tell them that you cannot, if you are so bulk up and you have a big belly and you're just completely out of shape, and you're just considering that you want to be like uh, a movie star who have like ripped six abs and everything, that's a big goal. You should have to divide the bigger goals into a smaller goals, and then achieve those goals first, and then ultimately you will get the bigger goal, right?
Yeah.
That's what you did in your thing as well.
Correct. But also, I thank you now, because before I was training on my own, and now you've been training a long time. You know what I mean? And now I feel like I've gotten to another level because I've listened to your advice, because you do things like properly. You know, you've been training a long time. So my advice to people is to find someone that actually has a program and that's actually getting results. You know what I mean?
This is a big problem back in my country. I know
Yeah.
people over here hire someone or go to the trainer.
Yeah.
But back in my country, every single person think that they know everything.
Yeah, nah. I never say that. So I know nothing. But the thing is, yeah, I appreciate that you've put in the time and the effort, and I'm seeing results now, because how I was lifting, it's not about how heavy you can lift, it's the technique, and that's what you've shown me. You know, a lot of it's technique, and I've learnt a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about just going.
Yeah.
You gotta, and when you're training, you gotta think with your brain on the muscle, what you're training,
Exactly.
and that's something you taught me. I never thought of that before.
Even I did a lot of mistakes in this journey, because it was somehow in my belief as well that these trainers are fucked up. The reason behind that, because back in my country, people literally have no knowledge, and the trainers over there, they're very few. Those who are genuinely trainers. Over here, you can't train someone unless you don't have a certifications and all that stuff. Even though you are not in shape, but at least you know the knowledge. You have the knowledge. Back in my country, no certifications, no nothing. So anyone can be a trainer, and then most of the trainers, they give you the steroids in the first go. You never did some hard work, and you're just getting the steroids. And most of the people that think, okay, so getting injections. Even whenever I go back in my country, a lot of people ask me, man, what steroids you use? Like, bloody hell, I never use in my life. Because they think that it is not achievable. It is achievable, but it takes time. It takes more effort. So consistency, and ask and seek advice for anything.
100%.
Wrong with, if something is wrong with your mental state, your health, same like as the doctors. When you can go to the doctor, or when you need to get some degree, you go to the school. Same thing, just go and seek the advice. I also want to add up over here. A lot of people back in my country, they think if they go someone and see the psychologist, people are gonna consider them that he's mad or she's mad, because they are going to the psychologist because their mental health is gone. And just because of that, a lot of people, those who really, really need help, they don't go, and then they become psycho, and they do some bigger shits in their life. Any advice, any topic, doesn't matter, from the fitness, anything you want to say to the audience?
Nah, just
specifically, I also want to add one more thing. Sorry about that. The people, those who are coming from my country, mostly the youngsters, students, when they come back to this country, they have completely different picture. They never imagine that the life is going to be very hard in the first few years, because when they come back, the very first pressure they have is the financial pressure, and in that financial pressure, they completely spoil their life, spoil their health. Even I see a bunch of guys who was gym freaks back in their country. When they come here, they never even visit the gym, or even if they visit, they just use it to pee. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want to say about that?
Well, I just want to say that, firstly, living a clean life, no drinking, no drug use, no prescription medication. You understand?
Okay.
And if bad things happen in your life, you just have to dust yourself off. You understand? And not keep worrying about what happened yesterday, because tomorrow's a new day.
Past is past.
Past is the past.
It's not coming back.
Every single day that you waste thinking about the past, it's not going to change anything. And when you think of your future, most of the time, 80% of the time, what you think's going to happen, and that it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
It's completely different.
Live in the present.
Live in the present.
Yeah.
Live each day by day and give it your best. Don't judge anyone.
Yeah.
Love on people, and just live a good life. Don't lie. Don't steal. Don't cheat.
Yeah.
And whoever the religion, whatever country they're from, that's everyone's born with different cultures.
Yeah.
So we live in Australia. We live in a good country.
Yeah.
You want to wear a hat. You want to wear a hat back. People can wear whatever they want. Don't judge anyone. That's me personally.
Exactly.
So I live a clean, good life. I have no dramas, no anything. But yeah, like I said, don't cover up your problems with drinking or medication. If a doctor tells you need this medication, no. That's only a bandage. You know when you got a cut, bandage.
Yeah.
So the thing is, what the problem is with people, they like a doctor. When a doctor fixes you, they got to have open heart surgery. You got to have surgery with someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you've got mental issues and stuff, what I've learned is you've got to deal with your trauma from when you were a child. A lot of people's issues stem from their childhood. You understand?
First, fix and heal the previous scar, and then move on, then do something good.
And also confess all your stuff. You can't. If you confess all your stuff, nothing can land on you.
Yeah.
Like right now, I don't care what.
The best thing to confess, if you can't find someone who you can trust, then confess with the good.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
The best person you can say. I don't say person. The best. You can say anything to the God, right? You can confess anything if you're just a little bit curious about like if someone gonna judge you, right? So we will end this podcast here. I again thank you so much, Stephen, coming, and for the same we're gonna train tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.
Just day. Thank you so much, man.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks. Cheers. That's it.